Goedenavond en bedankt voor het kijken. For those of you who don't speak fluent Dutch, that means good evening, and thank you for watching. My name is Dan, and tonight I'm going to be talking to you a little bit about my Dutch heritage. I am 50% Dutch. My grandparents on my dad's side were both born and raised in the Netherlands, and they immigrated to the United States back in the early 1940s, so that is where I get my Dutch roots. So today I'm going to be talking to you a little bit about the history of the Netherlands, along with some of their customs and a couple traditions that my family still carry on to this day. So starting with the geography of the Netherlands, it is located in Western Europe. As you can see, it is neighbors with both Germany and Belgium, and has a coastline on the Mediterranean Sea. The capital city of the Netherlands is Amsterdam, and is currently its most populous city as well. There's about 17 million people in the country right now, and it is still growing at a pretty good rate. And according to Tim Lambert, who wrote an online short history of the Netherlands here, the Netherlands became an independent country back in 1648 with its first ruler, Prince William of Orange, which naturally is where the Dutch get their national color orange, and fittingly I am wearing orange today. Now, a lot of people, when they hear the Netherlands, they might also use the term Holland. They might use the two terms interchangeably here, and there is actually a difference between the two. And if you look at the map here, it is actually a regional thing that distinguishes Holland from the Netherlands. As you can see, the Holland is just a few different areas on the west coast of the Netherlands here. You have a couple big cities like Amsterdam that make up Holland, and people who live there are called Hollanders. But most people who live on the north, south, and eastern parts of the country are strictly referred to as the Dutch, and that part of the country is called the Netherlands. So you might still use Holland for the Netherlands and the Netherlands for Holland, but most of the time, no matter which one you use, people will most likely know what you're talking about anyways. Okay. And when a lot of people think of the Netherlands, one of the first things they think about is flowers, or tulips in particular. And it's for that reason that the Netherlands, some people refer to the Netherlands as the flower capital of the world. And honestly, in doing some research, I think that name really holds up, because believe it or not, every spring there are over 1.7 billion tulips that blossom in the Netherlands. So that country, which isn't too big to begin with, has billions of tulips that blossom. And it's such a world-renowned thing for them that we even have different festivals and countries who have adopted tulip festivals that were inspired by the Netherlands here. And one even in my home state of Michigan, the annual Tulip Festival that is in Holland, Michigan. So when you think about the Netherlands and sports, the most popular sport by far in the Netherlands is soccer, or as they refer to it over in Europe, is football. Now, they look at soccer the kind of the way that Americans might look at football or basketball. You take the Dutch national team and you have guys like Arjen Robben or Robin van Persie, who kids idolize and people look up to over there, kind of the same way that Americans might look up to a LeBron James or a Tom Brady. It's just soccer is their sport, and they go crazy over the Dutch team. And the Dutch team has been fairly good in overall in World Cups here. But interestingly enough, they hold the record for most World Cup appearances without actually winning the tournament. So, it's good that they're getting far in the tournament, but unfortunately they haven't gotten a win yet. Their most recent finals appearance was in 2010 when they lost to Spain. So, There is another World Cup coming up in a couple of years, 2018. So hopefully the Dutch can turn it around and see if they can find their luck and finally get that win that they've been coveting here. Now, when it comes to traditions that I have with my family for the Dutch here, one of the big ones has to do with food. Growing up, my parents, we wouldn't have a lot of Dutch food, but, every now and then, they would either cook a Dutch dish or have Dutch snacks that, I really enjoyed growing up and, come to really love, actually. So, you see on the picture here, there is a couple that we used to have growing up. One of them would be the stroopwafels, which is a couple thin waffles with a caramel layer in between. My dad is still a huge fan of Dutch drops, which essentially is a Dutch version of black licorice. And now this one is pretty interesting. It's called hagelslag, and it is a piece of white bread that is buttered and then has chocolate sprinkles that are put on top. Now, when I first saw my dad eat this when I was a kid, I honestly thought that we had run out of food in the house and he was just scraping together whatever he could get and make a meal out of it. So, when I came to find out that he actually did that on purpose and wanted to eat that, I was extremely surprised because I thought there was no way that it could be good. But sure enough, after trying it, it's one of my favorite Dutch dishes. So don't knock it till you try it because you just might like it. Okay. And one of my favorite Dutch traditions has to be that of the chocolate letter. It is exactly what it sounds like. It is a black letter made of chocolate, and it's associated with the Dutch holiday of Sinterklaas, which of course in English means Saint Nick or Christmas. Every Christmas, each member of the family will get a chocolate letter with the first initial of their name. And, it's one of those special things for me because, growing up, I got one every single year. And even though I'm 24 years old now, with Christmas coming up next month, I know my parents are still going to get me one. And that's something really special and something I'm going to pass on to my kids too. So, it's great that I still have some of these Dutch traditions, even being 70 years removed from when my grandparents first came over. It's part of the reason why I'm really proud of my Dutch heritage and why I plan on continuing the legacy of those Dutch traditions. So I hope you learned a little bit about the Dutch culture, and I really thank you for watching my video.